Grand Rising, everyone, and welcome back. This is Shay Seeking, and this is not your mama's Bible study. So we're doing a Bible study, but you know that we on this channel do hand in hand. So his story in the Bible, we do a lot of comparisons here. So I was going to show you something in Ephesians 6 yesterday, so I decided to go up to 5 and I think 28 and bring you guys down and into what we're talking about. And so that I don't make this video so long, I'm not going to go all the way back there today. I'm trying to do better at getting right into the point. After I give my disclaimer, which is I am not religious, I'm not an atheist, okay? I don't attend a church, but I definitely read the Bible. I think we have been given a mixed emotion, and so there's so much with this awakening that's going on across all over the world or this plane, okay? I think that there's so much division when it comes to types of religions and what interpretation people are taking with the word. So I decided to shut all that out, go within, and see what I can bring out, okay? I want to have a better understanding, not an understanding, because if you have an understanding, somebody's always standing over you with a different way of basically giving you their perception. So again, I want to understand and overstand eventually, okay? So I'm never a teacher, always a student, always a seeker, but I would like to say that I'm starting to look at if we want to use these statuses and not try to act like these statuses come with a high and mighty title as oracle or a seer or something of that manner, okay? This is just, or a prophetess, okay? These are just terms to kind of let people know where you're at, basically with what you're bringing, for me anyway. So I will put myself in a thinking mindset of those particular groups, okay? So let's go ahead and go into this so we don't make it too long. I thought this was very, telling in a sense, okay? Because I'm not here to tell you guys what it is. I'm not here to tell you what it ain't. I'm just telling you what it looked like to me, okay? So let's go ahead and go into Ephesians. Oh, and for you guys that are coming back, it would just be great if you can hit the thumbs up if you even like the content within the first couple of minutes so you don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you can. I know that a lot of you guys watch on TV like I do, and you can't always do so, but if you are watching on your phone or some type of a tablet or device, then if you can go ahead and hit the thumbs up just to get traction going on the channel, because I guess that's how it works, okay? If you like what you hear here, then go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell and stick around. So let's go ahead and go into this. Okay, Ephesians 6, okay, and 1. So it says children in all caps. And it's funny how, and you guys will know, if once you'll get used to how I do things on the channel, how I go off track so much, and that's why. But when I go off track, that's other information that you can maybe take in an alternative view of seeing this, okay? So when I'm pointing out the fact, because these are very detrimental, and when we're reading a sentence or two, and it's talking about the people, and then it changes the term from people to person, that's something to pay attention to. Now, most people that are just reading their Bible and doing the everyday Bible study in church are not going to see it that way. These are for the deep thinkers. These are for those that have already jumped, fallen, or tripped down into that rabbit hole. And that's where we're going, and there's no way out after you go there. And I like to call it the point of no return. So it says children in all caps, obey your parents in the Lord. Okay. Okay, this book is all lopsided. Okay, so obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Okay? I don't know why, I know it's spelled right, R-I-G-H, but uh, I'm just thinking like right when it comes to like a society, a secret society, a certain Freemason uh, chapter or whatnot. Like I said, there's no scholarly way of speaking of this on this channel. That's not what I'm doing. And then I don't know why it turns me to the right wing um, or something. It's when I'm reading that, okay? Like it's trying to say, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is the right. So like, um, like, why couldn't it say this is the way, okay? If or the proper way or something, if we were gonna say that, to say this is right, correct. It could have been the right way or anything, but we just used right there. So that just, I don't know, piques my interest. So honor, here's another one, okay? Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, okay? And that's making me think like making a promise or an oath or saying, this is what you're gonna do or whatever. That it may be well with thee, so that it'll be okay with you, okay? And thou mayest live long on the earth. Now, you might live long on the earth. Now, I have a concordance here. I have about 10 of them because I collect books, especially old books. And maybe if you guys I can't pull it up here because I'm, obviously recording on the screen and I didn't prepare where I took pictures so I can show it to you guys. It's called the Credence Complete Concordance. And the thing with me, I don't discriminate. I will read from several different versions of the Bible because that's the only way I think you're going to get a proper understanding. Oh, sorry about that. I hope we don't have any run-ins with the family today where I will have to stop. But it says Cruden's Complete Concordance, okay? And let's see. Goodness, I'm just trying to get you guys the print date. 1949, okay? Copyright 1930 as well. Printed in the United States of America. Okay, so I was looking at Earth. We've done it before on here. Look at it in the concordance on like the Bible Hub or whatever. But I underlined a couple things I want to share with you guys when it comes to the Earth there. But on this channel, we've already established that we feel, and we're going along guidelines here, okay? There's not a biased way of looking at this. We're looking at the way we've been told to look at these things, and then the way that the book actually says it, and then along with the definitions and things from other tools, we're looking into that, and that's how we're coming up with our interpretation of what it's actually saying. Because there's several different layers to this onion, okay? And unfortunately, we're all going to be crying when we find out some of this stuff, if we see it the way that some of us are seeing it. So let's see. So when we're talking about live long on the earth, yeah, we could be talking about the earthly realm, what we, what do you call it, ignorantly just call like the earth is just the earth. And there are some people that say, oh, I'm connected to the earth. We are the earth, and in that general light, the same. But there are also, by reading these definitions, I found out that a lot of times in this Bible, when we're talking about the earth, we're actually talking about the first peoples, and not your first peoples from in the beginning. In the beginning is not including the aboriginal or the archetype, which are the original people of these plains all around the world that have been displaced and removed by other people that are now inhabiting that land and over, or because they've overthrown the original people of it. Okay, flooded it, seeded it, irrigated it, tilled, uh, replenished, whatnot. Okay, so it says, and ye fathers. Now, again, since I'm thinking with my theory in hand, this fathers, I think a lot of times we think we're talking about, oh, my mom and my dad. But we have to remember that some of these tribes in America call the president the Great Father. These people are titled the Founding Fathers, okay? Now, some of these people, like we saw in Genesis, I don't want to get it wrong, but I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm trying to say when it says something about you should leave your fathers, okay, that they took the rib from Adam and everything, and the Lord God took the whatever away, the rib away or whatever, and he created a whatever and brought it back to them, and they said, oh, good, this is flesh of my flesh, blood, and this thing, okay? So, my thing is that, and then we all know the stories of, in Aboriginal people being treated in a way, or being someone going into the family tree or the bloodline, or raping their way through, or breeding their way through, or paying $5 to become an Indian to get, land rights and things like this. So I'm also keeping those things in mind when I'm reading this, okay? So it says, so when we're talking about a father, and now that it says ye fathers, that just reminds me of the founding fathers, because I believe they have something to do with in the beginning has something to do with in the beginning of their time here on this particular earth, which would be the land, the land, so we're told, the last land to be taken over, or, old world versus new world, okay? So we are the newest, what they would say, and being colonized, okay? So again, let's keep going. So that they would live long on the earth, okay? And ye fathers provoke, that's what I was going to say. And so that you will leave your mother and your father and cleave onto your wife. We're getting the understanding that we are talking about, like, your mom and your dad, and then, you go to your wife and get married. That's all. But marriage is nothing but a union that they've created to get to charge you fees and to reap the benefits of what's going on. Basically, we're not going to go on in that because it don't matter. But what I'm trying to say is, it's a thing. It's something that was created for them to take advantage of the have-nots, the sheeple, the people, the masses, okay? So, let's see. Ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath. Again, your children could be Native Americans, okay? Because the mother would be the fact that we think that the transatlantic slave trade happened in a sense where they brought millions of Africans over here to America. But we now know from looking at the slave records that they only brought 250,000 or so Africans in total to North America during the entire slave trade. We also know that most American Negroes have some kind of ties to, or they have been told, or something, that they are American Indian, or they have that blood, okay? When it comes to the laws that were put in place and the one-drop rule put in place to keep those said people away from their heritage. So we think that Black and African American are nationalities or something that makes us valid. But again, many will say that you are dead by law because you're taking on terms that don't belong to you. And somebody else has been given your right, or has been given your or has been given your basically, let's leave it at that. Okay. So, and this book actually talks about this as well. How now these people will take over this term and whatnot. Okay. When this God was uh, moving and killing off people off of a land to place other people there. Okay. And we wonder why we have all these interpretations of racism and division and separation and all greed and all these other things. There are things that have been put on us by the haves in order to keep them living comfortably while we fight amongst each other for the crumbs. Okay? And there's no offense to that, but how can a nation begin to get back on its feet if it will not pay tribute or honor thy mother and father, which is the civilization that was here prior to, and that actually they were killing off and removing the men off of this land and sending them to Africa and other places while leaving the women there and having other people come in and take over the tribes that they placed there that were not of the bloodline. Okay? So, sorry about that. I'm back. Almost. Okay. So we're getting off the subject, but as I'm veering off, I'm trying to give you different alternative ways of looking at this will resonate with your spirit and then get you in touch with something that is, this awakening has to happen, right? And so if we all hold pieces to the puzzle and we're all waking up slowly, we are the ones that we have been waiting for. It's not nobody coming out of the clouds to save anyone. We are the ones, and in my way of thinking, I'm feeling like the Christos is in you. You don't even have to be the smartest, but I didn't go to college and all this other stuff. It's just something that's resonating with me. It won't let me rest. It leaves me unsettled if I don't do these videos. This is what I'm saying, okay? And it's all out of love. But there has to be order. I just thought about that. There has to be order. That's what I was just trying to say. I had to go talk to my daughter real quick, but there has to be order, balance, okay? And if the top is on the bottom and not just of humanity or the people or persons, I'm just saying of this actual landmass where our ancestors' blood is drenched with everybody else's into the land. But it doesn't matter about everybody else's. What I'm saying is if the true heirs, okay, don't ascend or come back or wake up, everything is going to go to crap. So I'm not trying to put anybody in front of anybody. It's just like me buying a home and something happens where I lose my memory, okay? And nobody know who, in my name and everything. Nobody knows who I am. I'm in the hospital for 2 years while they're trying to figure out what's wrong with me. And somebody else has moved into my home, okay? And even those people have died, but their children still live there, okay? And they're still calling the shots as to what to do to my house. And I come to my senses and I come back to my house and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? Well, obviously I never gave up the right. I had been removed or in some cases tricked into not coming back to my house. And so I never gave anyone in permission though. So now that I know the truth that this is my house, you can't remain here. You have to go. Doesn't matter if it was two ancestors or what, go. Doesn't matter. Things cannot be done right until that, and we can fight against and say, oh, we got to go to the lawyers, we got to go to court and everything. But nothing can be settled here until we do the right thing. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying once those once those bloodlines that are connected to the story that have been covered up by his story in the beginning, until those people know who they are, there cannot be that united front that needs to occur. So you can be a this, you can be a Muslim, you can be a Christian, you can be all this, you can read the Bible, and you still read it the way that they taught you in church. It's not going to benefit you. The awakening has to happen and the order has to be put there. And that's why the American Indian needs to know who he is, because there will be no real power if the creation is taking over the original nation. So if you have taken over my name and things, that cannot, it has to be done right, okay? In order for all of us to be elevated. It's almost like how I've been watching the Dark Crystal, and until that shard is placed back into it, you know what I'm saying, it can't achieve its full power. So I'm just saying that in the same way, if I was not just a regular person, I was a queen or something, and there was somebody that was actually in my nation, and we were the only survivors, and it was a peasant and a queen. Okay, well, the peasant is, saying, I'm the original person here. I should be the next one in line to say what's going to happen to these people. And then, or with this land. And then, no one wants to hear what he has to say. He's just a peasant. But if the queen comes to and say, hey, wait a minute, this is my throne, somebody should have to do something about that. And then once you do something about that and get the proper care to that land, then we can go further. Okay? But you can't, it just had to be, like I said, order. Okay? So we don't go too far and I don't get distracted. Order. It's not about saying who's higher than whatever, but someone asked me the other day, can everyone just be a Aboriginal? No, they can't. Because this is not how it works. Okay? It's just not how it works. There has to be order. And this is why everything is so chaotic and off balance right now. And it's not the people's fault that wonder this. It's the system that we're under in the social construct and all of the things, the education and the religions and all this other things that have given you a false perception. That's it. And it's not to say one life is more valid than the other. But if there is something that was taken from somebody and they've been treated an ill will way, whether the regular people are doing it or not, the people that have the power of the media, the news, and everything else are giving everyone the perception that it's okay to be some kind of way with these people, whether we're talking about so-called because of their skin color, which I don't agree with. I don't think it was ever about the skin color. I think it was about who you were and what's yours. Okay? So it's not to say that one person is more we're all here now. And again, all of these people are now inhabitants of the earth. So they have stemmed or sprung from the earth, or they're offspring of the earth. And I'm just saying the secondary races in the terms of their education that they've given us. Okay? See what I'm saying? That newer races that were not around prior to had to come from somewhere. And until they look back and go ahead and respect the fact that they come from a certain branch or tree, there will be no justice. Okay? So, servants, be obedient to them that are your masters, according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, in singleness of your heart, as unto Christ. Okay? Now that's something to break into later. As unto Christ. Okay? In singleness of your heart, as unto Christ. That just seems like that's telling me that it's equal to. Okay? I could be wrong. Now with eye service as men's pleasure, but as, let's see. Let's go again. This is Ephesians 6:6. Not with eye service as man pleasers, but as the servants of Christ. Okay, so not to be pleasers of man, or again, don't let man deceive you, or there's another one that's coming. Oh, you should not listen to man, but God, in a sense. Okay, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, but as the servants of Christ, whatever. But as the servants of Christ, Doing the will of God from the heart. Again, you have to chop that up. What are we saying? With fear and trembling, okay? In singleness of your heart, as unto Christ, okay? Not with eye service, okay? As men pleasers, okay? But as, now idol, that made me think about idols and how they've got so many idols in on their television and these celebrities that deceive, okay? Um, again, doing the will of God from the heart. So that's from within. Do you understand? Okay? There's one point or factor right there. Christ. Even Jesus told you where to look. With good will doing, okay? With good will doing service as to the Lord and not to men. So if it's inside, then what are you doing looking outside for? Why are you letting these pastors lead you to pastors like sheep? Knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Lord, whether he be bond or free. Now that reminds me of a bondman or a freeman or a freemason. A mason is a builder to a certain extent. What does he have in his hand? A trowel or whatever you call it? Okay? Something on faith. It's funny because he'd be pointing it anywhere, but we're pointing it here. Okay? Oh, and what are these? Masters. Can a mason be a master? I think so. Actually, let's see. Something about the cornerstone, which always brings me back to a biblical version of something. It is well established that George Washington was a member of the Freemasons, a fraternal society that had reached America from Great Britain. So, the mother and the father. They want you to think your motherland is Africa. And who was he sent by? Probably by a king or someone else, a lord, maybe. By the 1720s. And again, are we in the seventh day? Those of you know what we think about the first 7 days when everything was created, that we're actually talking about timelines. And if we're talking about the seventh day, we're probably talking about the 1700s. He became a member of the Fredericksburg Lodge number 4 in 1753. Okay, and I think in 55 is when he went, he was doing something in the military and then came back later. Well, let's see, at the age of 20. So maybe it wasn't 55. We'll see. And would serve as the master. Okay? What did it say here? And ye masters. Hold on, let's get to it. By serve, okay? Yeah, okay, so, Alexandria Lodge number 22 in 1788, 5 years later, while serving as the president, the preside. Remember how they told you in Genesis chapter 1 that he wanted to make a man to preside over? Okay, he led the Masonic ceremony, blah, 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 laid a cornerstone of the new United States Capitol. Okay, so this is the firmament in my eyes, okay? As a Mason, okay? He would have owned at least one apron. These must be very important to them. It has the all-seeing eye right here, I think. Perhaps more. These aprons are worn at meetings or ceremonies, or you get the drift. Lodges or temples, as well as public ceremonies, okay? We're not, okay? So let's keep on going. Let's see. Okay, with good. Okay, as to the Lord, not to men, knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Lord, whether he is bond or free. So this is for bondman or freeman. Okay. And I'm saying freeman when it comes to the so-called black freedsmen or whatever. And ye masters do the same thing unto them. Okay? Forbearing, threatening, knowing that your master, same thing slaveholders were, also is in heaven. And okay, we already know on this channel that heaven just means the house of God. And that could mean that it could be somewhere in the District of Columbia or Washington, D.C. It could be somewhere within in the realm of your capital. You know what I'm trying to say, okay? So basically, it's just the house of God. Funny how this guy, let's see, has this big G over here, over his head as well, okay? Let's see. Neither is there respect of persons with him. Finally, my brethren, that's what they probably called each other, these brotherhoods, okay? Be strong in the Lord, okay? And the Lord God, remember, is the second God to create. God with a capital G created a man in his own image, and the male or female, both male and female, he made them. We could be talking about androgynous beings, that like the ones that serve as the first lady, possibly even other people. Bunch of celebrities, stars, see? So, finally, okay, so let's see. Be strong in the Lord and the power, okay? Put the whole armor of God, okay? Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wills, I guess, of the devil, okay? Stand up against the wills of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So, in this case, we could be saying we're not wrestling or fighting against people that are flesh and blood. They may be invaders. They may be spies. They may be, people seem to think about these clones, or even if you think about Avatar, how they were using a body and being controlled or put to sleep and then sent over to another realm in a sense. And so they were able to get into these bodies, okay? Or what else can we use? That somebody can be your family member, or they can be your cousin. Okay, we'll use that one. They can be your cousin or something, but it's not. And you don't see them no different, and they've been rocking with you forever and always will be. But they are not of flesh and blood, okay? We could be talking about that. A lot of people will go straight to the fact that, oh, we're talking about spirits or something that's, well, I've never seen anything like that in my life. So I have to go back and bring myself back to reality and see what in reality, and I have to bring myself back to time that will be relevant to me, that will possibly have led me and my ancestors not that far back to where we are, okay? Not depending on what man says about science and how old the earth is and who was doing this and mythology, and for, even though all that stuff is relevant to pick through as tools to find truth or your truth, but you know what I'm saying. So we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, okay? Principalities. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and do something that we just didn't do today yet. And y'all know where I'm probably going to go. And I don't know where we're going to get here. You know, I'm just somebody that is just looking at something and just measuring it up. I don't have the answers. I really don't. don't even know if that's how you spell it. Let's see. Principalities. Okay, that's right, but let's just look at this. Principality. See if that one is there. Oh, it's not going to let me. Let's do it like that then. Okay, here we go. 1300s. Are we in the third day? Positions of a prince. Now, why would it matter that I'm trying to remind people to look into their ancestry and go back as far as they can to help each other, guide each other to looking at these things? Because who is the real prince? Because somebody is, what we're saying is, he just already said this is not of flesh and blood, right? So this is not just like how when they do family members. Well, we know that the whole throne over there was incest and all kind of crazy stuff going on with babies and kids, and we don't know whose daddy is who probably there from what they've shown us in their movies and their depiction of what was going on. But if we're talking about somebody that's not flesh and blood here, and we're talking about principalities, and principality is here saying that it's the position of a prince, that means that it's not the prince in this case, in some cases, okay? So principal matter, power, sovereignty. Again, what is sovereignty? Let's see, from principalis, meaning region, okay? See, so somebody's not the original, or state ruled by, so we're talking about a land, okay? Or a portion of a land, or a state. Remember, our states are, this is pretty new, the map that we have now. Everything wasn't always like that. If we're going back there, we have to go back there mentally. We have to go somewhere deep to find out where we were. You have to know this thing. This is why it's important to know that this is why I'm doing the whole channel. It's important to know that the Bible is not as old or removed and pushed back way where they say it is, that you can actually map this up. Because in America, we can only go off of what we're saying. We got the first Bibles in the late 1800s, early 1900s. That's when regular everyday people can get a Bible. Before then, you didn't have one. Nobody in the Bible had a Bible, okay? Even. So, if they had Bibles over there and Qurans over there already, then what I mean is overseas, where in the Afro-Eurasian place. That means that they probably, and if King James had his over there, it's okay. It was over there. It wasn't over here. Because when they're talking about go seize, when they send out the edicts and the papal bull and all that stuff and said go seize all the pagans and Saracens, who do you think they were talking about? Those are the people that were not under the rule and make them bow down to the rule. So you didn't take on the Bible per se until the late 1800s, early 1900s. So we were talking about bringing what they had over there over to here. So you would have been pagans. You would have been pagans. You would have been, your ancestors, that's what they would have been. They would not have been. So the religion is what's corrupted us. We have to learn to separate the Bible from the religion or the religious aspect, okay? Because the religion is the covering or the veil that has been in front of your eyes, and we're lifting that or removing that so you can see it down to what it is, because you can't prove that it was here before that, and I can't prove it wasn't. We just going off of what the inner tells you and where it guides you, okay? So I'm going to have to leave in a second, but let me just finish reading this really quick. So, okay, we already did that, okay? To be able to stand against the wills of the devil, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. So that is people that are taking on the role of someone that they are not. And it says against powers, against rulers. Again, those are just people. Most of them have stolen the thrones the very thrones that they sit on. Of the darkness. And it's funny, we're talking about the dark crystal. I've been watching. If y'all haven't watched it yet, binge watch it now. of this world against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay, so my whole take on this is the saying spiritual wickedness in high places. Now, if you go to, people want to tell you that heaven is in the sky. If you look up the term sky, it just means an elevated or higher place, and that's why I call them the haves, and we are the have-nots, and they are in how they have this whole thing. Look. Um, I can't find it here, but you'll hear that whole thing being used as above, so below. That is the earthly realm and then the heavenly realm. Okay? And then they are in the heavenly realm and they're trying to be taking the positions of princes in foreign lands, and that's why they are called foreigners. And this is why that God hadn't made it to rain on the earth yet. And this is why you now have foreigners. It wasn't talking about raindrops. It was talking about raining. Okay? Somebody in power. He had just said, let us make a man to preside, someone to have all this control. Of course, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about raindrops. Anybody that's still up and got their head in the sky, we're talking about setting up the sun in the sky and putting dirt on the ground and vegetation to grow is insane at this point. So, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, and that ye may be able to withstand in the evil days. And again, that's within. That's within. That is within. If you are a depiction of God or something in that sense, then, and if Jesus told you that ye are gods, then you better start recognizing it. That you may be able to withstand in these evil days, and having done all to stand. That's what we're doing. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. Now, I don't know if this what this is. I know these people that wear a lot of stuff on their thing, but again, they're taking on. Who's to say that this stuff is not yours and they've taken it and twisted it? But we know they wear a lot of stuff here. And then, look, this is about the loins. And there's that all-seeing eye, or that third eye, maybe. And maybe that's why they're standing in theirs, and they know not to be afraid of this other fake God that they've created and these idols that they've created for you. So this is why they get away with doing some of these things that they do. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there. I hope to see you guys back. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up if you like the content. Go ahead and subscribe if you would like. Maybe leave a comment if you feel like I need to know something, or you just want to say something. That's fine with me. I'm going to come back, and I'm probably going to have to do a 3 and 4 because I have to go somewhere right now. But I will definitely be back later, hopefully later on today, with part 3. We're in Ephesians chapter 6. If you want, you can go ahead and read your Bible. I'm definitely going to go ahead and hit this etymology, and I'm going to go ahead and hit this concordance with the definition of person and people in all other terms when I get back. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and thanks a lot for tuning in, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.